What is
It's all
happening?
it's all the springs hitting us on the head, clearly.
Clearly, it's all. Where's all these springs coming from?
Where
So
are these springs coming from? This is Barely Furcasting, featuring Tabin, an Injured Nerves audio production. Well, guess what, Tabin?
What, Mr. Barely?
Moo bark fluff to all our friends, podlings, and species in the Podiverse.
Yes,
we are
Moo bark
here
fluff
once
to you
again.
too.
We hope that you are all faring well and enjoying the new spring weather. Now, that doesn't mean that there are springs out there, because that could be painful, especially if they fell from the sky. But I am Barely Normal, one of your hosts for the foreseeable future. And of course, with me is my co-host and furry extraordinaire, Tabin.
There are a lot of things happening right now in the foreseeable future and extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire.
So we'll just go with that. And hi,
Yeah.
yes, my name is Tabin. I am a pup. Bark, bark. And it's so wonderful to talk to you again, Barely, and any fur that's listening. And I hope all you furs are doing well and staying safe and enjoying the spring weather and not getting springs thrown upon your head.
Yes.
That doesn't
Springs
make a
upon your
good.
head. Though that does not make for a good day to happen when springs fall upon you.
No, I mean, if a spring fell upon me out of nowhere, just when I was walking around outside, I would have so many questions. And
Yes, like
then
where did that spring come from?
that would be the very first question, like,
The very
where
first
did that.
question. Yeah. So
And yeah, hi.
hi. So anyway, we need to let everybody know right off the bat. This episode has a guest of Omnom, NomNomNom. He agreed to be on our show, as you recall, if we would donate some monies, the American monies, not the fake stuff, but American monies, or Monopoly money, not like that, but real monies.
You mean, can we use choo-choo trains?
No,
No, can't
no,
even
can't
use
use.
choo-choo trains. Okay.
No, can't even use choo-choo trains. No. He asked us to donate $1 for each time you said the phrase "I'm a pup." In discussing this, you
Because
and
it
I
turns
said
out that I am.
it does. It does indeed. In discussing this, you and I decided to be okay, and that we decided that it would apply each time you said it for the entire episode, not just for when the interview was happening.
Oh, so wait, what's the phrase again? I think it's "I'm a pup."
Yes, that is
Okay,
correct.
every time I say "I'm a pup," this special thing is happening. Okay, this is good to know.
Okay, yeah, there will be a dollar. There will be a cash register sound, which sounds like this.
I'm a pup.
And
Oh,
well,
no, sorry. Okay, wait, let's do that again. I got messed
what
up.
the sound will sound like this. And that means that one more dollar has been donated to his charity. Now, actually, it's $4 more because I agreed to $1, you agreed to $1, your husband Tatsu agreed to $1, and our talent director Rain agreed to $1.
Right, right.
So,
And so it's just to make sure this is right. So every time I say I'm a pup, this special magical sound occurs, and it's a fun sound every time
mhm,
that I happen to be a pup, which is all the time. So
Omnom will reveal the charity during his
mhm.
interview with us. Are you ready to move on for the rest of the show, Tabin?
I'm having a fun time already. How are
I
you
know.
doing, Barely?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I see that you have some things that you want to say right out of the
Yes.
gate.
I have another informative thing about irises. So not the eyes, but the actual flowers and stuff.
Oh,
I think it
okay.
was
Okay.
last week or a few weeks ago. I mentioned something about irises, the Japanese iris. I think
It was last week. Yes.
last week, right?
So this
And
would
my
kind of fall under the last week today, but you can go on.
it would actually. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm going to just jump the cow
Jump the cow.
because I am a pup. It turns out, so I might do that. My honey likes irises a lot, and that's where like all this information about irises is coming from. And so I also learned that they like water. I mean, no big surprise, but they really
Yeah.
thrive in water. And peat moss, I don't know why peat has all the moss in the world, but peat moss anyway,
Mhm.
holds the water really well. So if
Yes.
you, yeah, see, I didn't know this, but maybe it's common knowledge. But so if you mix peat moss in with the soil when you're planting
Yes.
irises, it's really good for them.
Do you know where peat moss comes from?
I'm guessing not from Pete, maybe Roy or Vladimir.
No, no. It's very common over in the UK in the peat
Hmm.
bogs, and they actually
And
it
that's
grows
why
that
it's.
way. Yeah.
Oh.
And they literally chop it up into big chunks, wrap it up, and ship it over to America. So if you get Irish peat, that's like the best peat in the world.
Yeah, no, he's a really great guy. I like that Irish Pete,
Irish Pete. Yeah,
definitely.
he's a great guy.
He's
Yeah, he
yeah,
brings a lot of whiskey to the party, so,
he does. He's really great on March 14th.
Why March 14th?
'Cause that's St. Patty's Day.
No, March 17th.
Oh, but he's also great on March 14th.
Well, it's pre-drinking then,
It's
clearly.
pretty right, I am such a pup. Okay, I got it. So another thing, and this would not fit into the last week today thing, kind of, I guess, important new vocabulary, or
Okay.
I don't know if it's new or not. But so, I have all this fluff and stuff, and I don't want to shave or shear or anything because I've got all my luxurious fluff. Maybe if I were
Mhm.
to go to a masseuse or something, when I get all nice and fluffy, maybe they'll have to shear or something. Anyway,
Yes.
but I know there's some humans out there that shave their face. And I mean, they do that. And you did
Mhm.
that recently, I
I
think.
did, yes. Mhm.
So you can be shaving your scruff off your face, but if you have a battery powered shaver, then the battery could run out like halfway through. And in
Mhm.
that case, what you have then is it's descruffication interruptus is what.
Descruffication interruptus. Okay.
Yes, because your descarification has been interrupted by the battery. But, it occurred to me that if I do wanna get groomed, and I have the same problem then when I'm shaving my fluff all nice and fluffy,
Mhm.
if halfway through it stopped, in my case, it would be defluffication interruptus.
Wow, and you said that without stumbling. I am impressed.
I was really worried. I practiced this because these are good, important vocabularies to know. Really proud of myself. I'm such a pup that way. And one more thing, Irish info. I have some. Oh yeah, because it was actually St. Patty's Day recently, as
Yes.
we now know because you informed March 17th, not 14th.
Yes.
Oh, I know why I said March 14th because that's Pi Day,
Pi Day, yes.
3/14.
Of course, that
Wow,
was on
you are
your brain.
I know you. Oh, you're so ahead of me. Oh, barely. So something I learned in Ireland when they go and they sit on chairs and stuff that are on the porch, they have a special name for it. It's called patio furniture.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. So moving right along.
Moving right along, as they say in Ireland. You know what time it is, Tabin? Tabin, it's time for 5-minute furs for fun, so I'm going to post the link. I don't know why I'm speaking like an Irishman, or I'm trying to sound like an Irishman, but I'm not very good at it.
No, you're actually really good at it. I think.
Oh, am
Why
I
am I
now?
all?
So while we're waiting for the fur to come on, if he comes on or she comes on, the weekly challenge for our furs today is to
Mhm.
mail someone a thinking of you card. I mean,
Oh,
actually
nice.
mail it to them using a stamp, signing your name, a pen on the envelope with an
Yeah.
address.
Showing you
So
don't do
that's your
the easy
challenge.
way, yeah, don't do the easy way out where you just send them a telegram or a tweet at them or email. Go old school, show them you care with an actual you took time to
Yep.
do this.
Well, we're gonna cram right along as we're waiting
We're
for.
gonna
Just
cram
gonna
right
cram it.
along.
Just gonna cram it down your listening ears. We're cramming things in your ears today. So
Okay.
that takes us to last week today.
Last week today.
We talked about cartoon characters last week, mostly Bugs Bunny's girlfriend and Pepe Le Pew. So here's the deal. So remember in 1999, 96, 96, there was a movie called Space Jam.
Oh, yeah,
And
I've heard of that. I
yeah,
haven't seen it, but I've heard of it, yeah.
yeah. So they're doing a sequel finally, 25 years later or whatever it is.
I mean, it takes a long
And
time.
so Bugs Bunny's girlfriend, Lola Bunny, was overly sexualized in 1996.
Oh, so there were definitely furries involved in this, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And so they have under-sexualized her for the new Space Jam movie.
Oh, so no
Um,
furries involved this time.
they've reduced her bunny breasts and they've given her a regular shirt instead of a crop top. They've given her loose clothing instead of tight-fitting shorts, etc., etc. So there's that. Now,
Does she
Pepe,
have a carrot? Does she
she does
care at
not.
all about her
She
carrot?
does not have a carrot. She does not
Oh.
have, as they like to say, they do. She does not have a cartoon quirk.
Oh, they don't
Yeah.
care at all.
They
That
don't
was it.
care at all, that's
Yeah,
true.
I don't know.
Now,
Do they
Pepe
onion?
Pepe Le Pew. Do you remember Pepe Le Pew from the old cartoons?
I have seen pictures of this. He's the French skunk, right?
He's the French skunk, yes, and, he always would say, "Mon ami" or something like that, but it turns out
Mon chéri.
"Mon chéri," which is French for man friend or something like that.
For my dear.
They've left him out of the new Space Jam sequel because his character was too much of a cad, and it was viewed as normalizing rape culture because, of course,
Uh,
he was always trying to get the girl, and she was always trying to stop,
oh, he's
consent
trying
is
to get out. Oh,
sexy.
right, right, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she kept saying no, and he kept pushing forward, so that's
Okay, okay.
not exactly a good idea
That's
in today's
not a good
culture.
to no, no, that's
No,
a good point. I was
right,
wondering about
right.
that. Okay, good.
Yeah, and then we talked about button up or button down. Now,
Oh, yeah.
you remember that? So here's the thing. Button up and button down are both refer to shirts, men's shirts specifically.
Mm.
And button up means a shirt with buttons down up the front of them, right? So you button up your shirt. It's very
Yeah, yeah,
simple. Okay?
okay,
Now,
yeah.
button down is refers to the collars of the shirt. Like the shirt I'm wearing right now has a little button on the collar that buttons down to the shirt.
Oh, it does.
Ah, it
Yeah,
does.
it's
Yeah,
so it's a very true to life word.
right.
They weren't just making these words up. It's true.
No, or all button-up shirts are not necessarily a button-down shirt. Does that make sense? Because
It
you'll
does.
have shirts that don't have button-down collars,
Right,
but all button-downs are button-ups, but not all
but not
button-ups
100%.
are button-downs.
Mhm.
Much like a hinder fruit is a fruit, but not all fruit are hinder fruits.
This is a true statement. We've got the
Mhm.
logic going on here. We
Yeah,
is there a button sideways shirt?
there is not. But now the history of the button-down comes from a sport. Do you wanna know what sport it was?
Can I guess?
You take a
Is
guess.
it triangle flute miniature golf?
No, but it's similar. It's polo.
I was close. Okay.
You were so
I was so
you were just
close.
like right there.
Right there. I
Because
just
the shirts that the polo players wore as they were, riding through, their collars were very big and they would flop up into their faces and
mhm,
distract
mhm,
them.
mhm.
So they put buttons to button down the collars.
Ah, that's
Ta-da!
very mystery look at
Yeah,
technology. It's amazing.
right, technology and fashion design.
Fashion,
Welcome to the, Bearly and Tabin fashion show.
fashion show. Da, da, da. What's the music that goes with the fashion show stuff? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know, but always remember to turn left, I think. Is it turn left or turn right?
Oh, yeah, I'm envisioning left. I
Um,
think it's left. I think
I
you're
think
right.
it's left. Yep, yep.
Oh, I think you're right that it's left.
Yeah, and now down on in. You use the phrase down on in.
I did. I said down on in, all right? Forget
Yep.
why, but I did.
And there is no human way in the English language to use that phrase.
Oh, okay. Good.
Okay.
Good to know.
But but clearly there's pup ways to use it because you use it all the time. So there
I
you go.
used
There's that.
it turns out that I am a pup and I used that phrase. So I guess I was not violating society or normative norms or conspiracies of hingle baskets.
Hingle baskets. Okay.
He's writing that. That is cute. Okay.
You're gonna sooner or later I'm gonna ask you to define all these words. All right.
Uh-oh.
So the next thing that we need to talk about is, as you remember
What?
last week, Moritz the Crow came on for the 5 minute furs.
Oh, yeah.
And he gave you a shiny trinket.
Yes, that was so, so very nice of Moritz. Thank you again. Shout out to Moritz for shiny trinket of a bell.
So do you know why crows give shiny trinkets?
Oh, it's a thing. No, I do not know this.
It's an actual thing in nature. Crows
Really?
like to adorn their nests with shiny things like shiny pieces of paper or
Tinsel or
plastic,
something?
tinsel like that. They've been known to go to, if you've ever driven past fields and they've got those shiny ribbons flying in the breeze to try and scare away the geese.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Crows will steal those and put them into their nests
Oh, how cute.
because they build the nest in order to attract a mate, and the prettier the nest, the more likely that a mate will
Yeah,
find there. And
I
yeah,
would fly to if I could fly, I
mhm.
would fly to a nest that had pretties.
The other thing is crows have been known to befriend and to not befriend
Oh,
humans. So if you're good to a crow, if you're fine, if you're if you feed them or whatever, they will bring you presents. They will bring you shiny
Oh,
trinkets.
really? That is so cute. I
Yes.
love it.
Now, if you hurt one,
Oh, no.
they spread the word and they will torment you for years.
They're a little vindictive.
Yes. So the moral of the story is if you see a crow, treat it nice and it'll bring you presents.
It can go either way. It's like there's no like, oh, whatever by the crow. It's like you either get presents or you are scorned by flocks of crows for decades. So there's no middle ground here.
Yes, unlike being scorned by a flock of seagulls, which just means you don't get to hear their music.
It's true. That is true.
Well, nobody came in for 5-minute furs, so I've taken the link down. Tabin, do you have anything for last week today?
I do. Okay. So as you know, I mean, I've been talking about the last few weeks and everything about how I listen to some of the more recent recordings, see how it turns out and everything. And so I'm in the middle of listening to the episode number 42 because I'm a pup, and that is the episode where we had a Finn, bringer of love, raccoon, wonderful raccoon on the show. So I have a few notes from that. First and foremost, very, very, very important. My apologies completely to Finn. I'm usually try and be very, very gender sensitive. And for the most part, I was. But after we talked to them, I was a little gender insensitive and I used the wrong pronoun. And I'm very, very sorry, Finn. If you're listening to this, I am just a pup. So I make mistakes sometimes and I'm so sorry. So I still love you. I didn't mean to offend. So thank you. But wonderful, wonderful conversation we had with them on the website. For some reason, I don't know why. There's no, there's a chapter markers little section, and I don't know
Mhm.
why. Every other episode has a chapter marker section, but this doesn't. So this isn't like mind shattering or anything. It's just something I noticed and I thought I'd mention it. And I don't know why, but there it is.
Maybe I forgot to do the chapter markers for that
Oh, you do a
episode.
thing to do that. And so also in that episode, we talked about Valentine's Day at the very, very
Yes.
beginning. And you talked about Love Book Online.
Yes.
And I ended up getting my honey a love book online for
Aw,
Valentine's Day. So I made
aw.
it in time. I forgot to
Nice.
tell you. I wanted to tell you thank you for that
Oh,
suggestion.
cool.
It got there a few days, I think, before. And you must have got a discount probably because you did it beforehand because you said it was only $20 or $30. I had to pay $50, but it was so worth it.
Yeah, I think I actually had a coupon. I think it was like one of those
Oh,
advertising things. I had a coupon and, you can't get in without your coops, as they say
you can't get
sometimes.
in without your coops,
Yep.
especially if you're a chicken because you need your coops. Also, on that episode, we talked about chocolate chip cookie dough
Mhm.
and how I like it. And then
Uh-huh.
guess what my honey got me for Valentine's Day? Because
Chocolate
of
chip cookie dough?
yeah, that's a very good guess.
Uh-huh.
Because you had said to him
Mhm.
that I like because I whined about not having that whole thing anyway.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
for all you first go back and listen to that episode and you can hear what we're talking about. But anyway, he got me chocolate chip cookie dough. And while we opened our Valentine's Day things, we had chocolate chip cookie dough, all because of you.
Aw. So I'm so glad I could help with your romance.
You did. And I meant to tell you all this before when it happened, but like I was just listening
I
to the episode now and remembered.
Hey, well, we're
um,
we're busy. We're busy furs.
It turns out
Yeah.
oh, so much happened, and I'm not even done listening to the episode yet. But also, when we were talking to Finn, we
Mhm.
talked about devil's lettuce because I didn't know what that was. They said something on their media about devil's lettuce, and I didn't know what that was. And they
Mhm.
explained it very well. And so it turns out the raccoon Finn is a very good gardener, and that's where all that goes.
Yes.
And oh yeah, so at around 11 minutes and 10 seconds, no, I had a lot of fun with this apparently. At
Apparently,
11
yes.
minutes, at 11 minutes and 10 seconds into the episode, you're talking, and for no reason, I start doing like a crazy laugh. It's not just a
Uh-huh.
typical laugh that I do. It's just I go crazy out of nowhere. And you
Mhm.
don't even care. Like you're just talking, and I'm just doing a thing, and I stop, but you just
Mhm.
keep talking, and you don't
Uh-huh.
even care. I thought that was notable. And the last thing
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
that I've noted so far is you mentioned that I have an ability, and that was insane to me to think. And I said I would research that. Ask me, Tabin, have you researched if you have an ability or not yet?
Tabin, have you researched whether you have an ability or not yet?
No, I have not. So this is just me
Okay.
saying I have fallen down on my responsibilities there.
Okay. Well,
And that is what I
nice.
have to say about, my last time today. I am a
Okay. You mentioned something to me about the Valentine's episode. Apparently, we talked about the Tweety birds flying around in circles around your
Yes,
head.
yes, yes.
But I did look it up, and apparently we forgot to talk about it. So here's the reason. If you've ever gotten knocked on the head or fallen down and hitting? Hitting your head.
You'd be
If
smitten
you
with a hitting.
the spitting with a hitting kitten, you get what they say is you see stars, and if you see stars, then they will often, in your brain. So to make that happen on cartoons, they will
In your
you're
brain.
giggling again.
I
So
have got
I
you're
say
just hilarious. That's all I can
it's
say.
like, okay, so to make it happen on cartoons, they would put stars around there.
Mhm,
And then,
mhm.
of course, as they started Disneyfying things in the late 50s and
Oh.
60s,
Yeah, okay,
stars
okay.
just didn't seem Disney-esque enough. So
Yeah,
they started
okay.
using little Tweety birds or
Little
little
bird, Tweety
bluebirds
bird.
around you. It moved along, and now it's gotten darker. So now if you watch cartoons and they get hit over the head, a lot of times you'll see planets around their head
Yeah,
or
or blood or
suns or stars or blood. Or and here's something very dark. If the cartoon character gets hit on the head and they put vultures around it,
yeah.
some point during the cartoon episode, that character is going to die. Vultures around there means they're
Oof,
going to kill
oof.
off that character.
I did not
Now,
oh,
yeah, I didn't know
okay,
that
good to
either.
know,
So
good to know.
it may be like later on in the series, but in the more recent cartoons, they may
And
actually kill
eventually
off that character when
so
they put vultures around the head.
does the
So
character know they have vultures? Like, do they know about their
no,
impending doom? They don't know.
no, well,
Oh, it's
unless
okay, so yeah, that's a
yeah.
little morbid.
That moves us along to the mailbag and shout outs. And I don't have anything for the mailbag. Nobody sent us any messages yet. Almost a full season in, we've gotten like 3 messages.
I'm a pup, remember, I am a pup, you can send us messages. No fur sends me anything, but that's okay because I'm just a pup, I run around and I have a tail and I pet tail, and that's good enough for me, I guess.
So that's going to bring us up to our media section.
I have a word for you.
What's the word?
The bird is the
Bird
word.
is the
No.
word.
Bad, 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 bad. Bad's a word.
So this is actually a word you probably know. I'll ask you, and
Okay.
then all our listeners can have fun seeing if they know the word. Do
Ah,
you know the word onomatopoeia?
Onomatopoeia.
yes. We've talked about this word before.
I'll ask you then, do you remember what this word means, Barely?
Don't have a clue. Can't remember a thing. Nope.
Okay. You know I was gonna ask you that. I could see it in your face.
I
You're
know.
like,
I was like, nope, nope. I remember talking about it, but nope, 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 nope.
so onomatopoeia is a sound word like bark or
Mm-hmm.
ding or fluff. Fluff could be an onomatopoeia if you think really hard
It's a
about
very,
it, I
it's a very
guess.
quiet word,
It's a very quiet word. It's a very important word.
like dust bunny.
And do you like dust bunny?
That's a quiet word.
That's a very quiet word. Do you know how to spell onomatopoeia?
Onomatopoeia.
Letter, 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 Pia.
Pia. Yes.
Yeah.
And you actually spell it Onomatopoeia, which is very counterintuitive. It's
Mm-hmm.
really, if you were to sound it out, it's like onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia.
So that's just
There
how I'm
we
talking about
go.
that now.
There
There
we,
we go.
it's a sound. It's a word that means a word is a sound. Sound advice.
Sound advice. Are you an onomatopoeia, Barely?
Barely.
But almost, just
Almost.
you're getting there. You're
Almost.
getting there. Ask me if I'm an onomatopoeia.
Are you an onomatopoeia?
Tabin. If you said your name, I thought I wanted to say mine because
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
pup, so that's how
Okay.
it works.
So let's move on to media, shall we?
Shall we?
All right. So there's no Cobra Kai update this week. I didn't watch any Cobra Kai. I watched the South Park Q vaccination special.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
And-
talked about that last week.
Oh my God, it's so funny. So wrong, as is most South Park episodes, but it's so funny.
It's just like the pandemic episode too, the one before it. It's like, well, I mean, it's Matt and Trey. They're very good with being up to date And
Mhm.
since it's so up to date, it's like way too soon for either of them, but they've got to be up to
Yes.
date.
We
So
gotta be up to
that's
date, yeah.
where that comes from.
There was a couple of scenes I had to go back and rewatch because I'm like, "Oh my god, did they just do what I think they just did?"
And
Yeah, they
yeah,
did,
they did.
but there are some really funny moments in that. But
Check it out.
check it out. I watched the first episode of a show called Resident Alien.
Resident Alien. I have not heard
Yes.
this. Is it a relatively new thing?
It's a relatively new show. It's on NBC. I think they're on season 2, but they released season 1 on their streaming service.
Ah, okay.
So I'm watching that. It's about an alien that crashes on Earth. His mission was to, and this is just in the show synopsis if you read it from the show. So I'm not giving you any spoilers. His mission was to come to Earth and destroy it, but he crashed. And so he took over the body of a doctor in the small town where he lives. They think he's the doctor. And so he has this ability to
Oh.
mask his alienness, make him look human. And it's hilarious. The hijinks he gets into as a human. It's so much fun.
So it's a comedy sci-fi thing.
It's a dramedy, if you will.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to
But
check that out. That sounds interesting.
the streaming service for NBC now is called Peacock,
Oh, okay.
and
I
it's
did not know.
free.
Oh, because of the old logo with the peacock
Right.
and the rainbows.
Yeah. Yeah.
The gay peacock.
The gay Peacock, yes. But that streaming service is free. They have a paid version, but they're so like if I had the paid version, I could watch the current season of Resident Alien.
So you just have to wait and be behind just a little bit.
Right. Now, the new show, Mr. Mayor, which I started watching and then decided not to watch,
Mhm.
they released that on the Peacock like 2 days after it airs. So since you have streaming service on your television, you can download the
Oh, okay.
Peacock app and watch these shows, and it's all free. So
Pretty
you don't have to pay
updated.
anything.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So there you go.
I'll check it out. That's
Yeah.
good.
And I did watch
I am
the
up.
first episode of Big Mouth, and that's
Yeah.
as far as I'm going to say about that on this show. So
And when you say that, I know there's like several different venues, reasons why you say that.
It is definitely NC-17.
At least, I think.
At least. Yeah.
This is why I
Yeah.
can't watch it, because I am a pup and I am just like 4.5 years old, so I can't watch it. But I've heard things about it.
What have you been watching?
We're boring this week. Pretty much same as last week. Lucifer, and continuing on in My Name is Earl. We're still on season 3. Have you seen the whole thing of I know you've seen some of My Name is Earl.
I've
think.
seen some. I've never really
Yeah.
watched it from
Oh,
start to
okay,
beginning. So, or start to beginning, start to end.
Start
So,
to be start. I
Start
have
to the
watched it
beginning.
start to beginning, but that's as far as I got.
That's as far as I've gotten. Yeah, it's the start to beginning.
Yeah, I've been watching since season. We're me and my hubby are very avid about, like, we don't jump around. Like, we've got to watch the thing. And if we don't like a particular show, we'll usually still feel obligated to finish at least that season. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that last week about how you got to episode 3 of Mr. Mayor, and then like, nope. It's like, well, that's good. You saved us like not just a few episodes, you saved us an entire season. So thank you for that.
I think we should get to our guest. What do you say, Tabin?
Oh yeah, we have a guest. That's amazing. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget things. I am a pup that forgets things. Yes, let's get on to that wonderful, wonderful squirrel, Omnom, the Nom.
Well, joining us today is Omnom NomNomNom. How are you today, Omnom NomNomNom?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me here.
Are you quite welcome?
Thanks for joining Barely and me. My name is Tabin. I'm a pup, bark bark, and it's been a long time since I've seen you. I think it was TFF last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was almost a year to the day, actually.
It's true.
Oh, wow.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
Cool.
that's right, because it was the end of February. Well,
Yeah.
Happy year anniversary, I guess, of not seeing this pup, I guess, is what we're saying
Right.
with that.
Okay, so a couple of things to get out of the way. So our guests, or not our guests, but our listeners up to this point, have heard during our podcast, every time Tabin said a certain phrase, we had a little cha-ching sound effect. And that was because you, Mr. Omnom, gave us a challenge that every time Tabin said, I'm a pup, and it was Tabin, not me, but every time Tabin said, I'm a pup, we would donate some money to charity. So throughout the podcast so far, We've been keeping track of every time he said that, and we'll be keeping track during the guest spot here. But you have to tell us which charity to send this to at the end of the podcast.
Oh goodness, I have to pick?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? I actually can tell you in exactly which one
All right.
because currently right now, am I allowed to plug a charity?
Absolutely. That's what we're doing for. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know who Mark Sparks is.
I do know who Mark Sparks is. He doesn't know who I am, but I am just a pup, so he wouldn't know.
Oh, there we go. That's is that one?
Yep. That's one.
I am currently doing the ALS. Let me pull it up real quick. I'm doing an ALS Foundation stream all month with Mark Sparks for the Help Them Help Us campaign for ALS North Carolina chapter. Mark Sparks' father was diagnosed with ALS 2 years ago. Also, with the loss of Dog Bomb and all that stuff, ALS has been a very big impactful part of many of our lives in the fandom. And so all month, my personal stream is going to be dedicated to raising money for the ALS North Carolina chapter in particular. So if we could, I would like for it to go towards that campaign.
Yeah.
That is where it will go.
I think this will be then a side offshoot of we're collaborating, but in a different way, I guess.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't really know what I'm talking about because typically I am a pup.
All right. Now let's get going with our interview, Tabe, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions that you would like to ask.
I do. I have some questions. Omnom, Squirrely, could I ask you some questions and could you reply to them?
Absolutely.
That's a wonderful statement because otherwise I'd be asking you things and you wouldn't be replying, but I just keep talking and you wouldn't be, and it would be a very boring time with you. So this will make for a nicer time. So so Omnom, you are a furry. Sorry, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I thought I should let you know.
That's news to me.
I know. Are you going to be okay? Do you have to tell your parents or something?
I might have to take a little bit to digest this information.
I know. Well, we'll wait until I get done yelling at you, I guess, and then we can do that. So you are a furry, and now that you know, thinking back, how long have you been such, and what brought you to this wonderful fluff?
Okay, so there's just a little bit of a backstory on that. So I have always been a musician and I did a lot of touring outside of fandom related stuff for any fandom before that. But I was in a side band at one point that was just kind of, because one of those bands that almost every musician, short of me currently, which is funny, but many musicians that are in some sort of touring band play in a band that is the band that is viable to be sustainable for some sort of income or things like that. But that's not really where their passion lies.
And so it's more like a helping band, more like a band aid, as it were.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm a pup, you see, so I had to go there.
So I was in a band that was doing really well, and we were doing a lot of touring, but it wasn't the style of music that I really wanted to play. That kind of it didn't scratch every itch, as if it were. So I was playing in another band, and we were playing a lot of convention things. Like we were playing Comic-Con, in particular Phoenix Comic-Con, which is the city that I am from. And it was a lot of fun. I'd always kind of been interested in anthro things. Like every time I'd play a video game like Final Fantasy 14, for example, or anyone, I always picked, the fox boy or the cat girl or this whatever, some sort of anthro thing, and I'd always loved it.
Nice.
And we were playing on stage, and this big blue fluffy dragon with a machine gun walks by.
Oh, with a machine gun.
With a minigun made out of PVC pipes. Sorry, not a machine gun, a minigun made out of PVC pipes.
Well, either way is terrifying.
It was awesome. And they walk by the stage and they stop and they put their minigun down and they start rocking out. And I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So they stay for the whole show. After the show, I walk up to them and I'm like, oh my God, what is this costume? You are so cool. Thanks for watching us. This is great. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm a furry. This is my fursuit. This is really cool. And I'm like, I had no idea that it was like that. I'd always heard of furries and, a lot of the anime fandom, especially here in Phoenix, everything's very sectored out. The anime community doesn't really get along with furries and it's weird. At least it used to be that way. It's gotten a little bit better, but it used to be very stigmatized. And so I was like, this is so cool. And so I had decided a few months later that I was going to go, and I had looked it up on Facebook, and there was a furry group, and I looked up at this place called Fur Hop, and it was an IHOP fur meet.
Oh, cute.
And so I was like, you know what? I want to go check this out. This looks really cool. So I went, and guess who's there? That big blue fluffy dragon with the minigun.
Wow. So it's just made to be.
And I was like, no way. Well, this gets more uncanny valley here. That same furry dragon is Roman Yeaner from Lemon Brat, the drummer for my band Run Definitely Run.
Really? Okay.
Turns out I meet them. They play. I sang and played guitar and bass and all this stuff, and they played drums. And we started Run Definitely Run about a month later after that, and ever since then,
Wow. That hits on so many things. You've actually already covered everything I was going to ask you. We're done. Bye-bye. I'm a pup.
Oh, it's been a great interview. Thanks.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, great. See you next time. No, that's very cool and very exciting. Big purple fluff with the machine or minigun thing. That's exciting. Now, so then how did you become, so you're a flying squirrel, and actually not really, you are really a winged sciurus. And I don't know what that is. Is that like,
Cirrus, like the cloud, Cirrus.
oh, I see.
Cirrus. Okay.
It's spelled that way because Cirrus is actually Latin for squirrel, but it's pronounced Cirrus.
Because I was like, what are you? Are you a walrus that's gone askew or something? But no. Okay, that makes more sense. Did no one get that? I am such a pup. Okay, anyway. So how did you become the flying squirrel, the amazing flying squirrel that you are?
Okay, so there's a story behind this too. So I am a commercial pilot, and I'm currently medically grounded, but I'm a commercial pilot and a flight instructor and all sorts of things. And when I joined the fandom, I've always loved squirrels. In fact, I almost drove, when I was learning how to drive, my mom let me drive a little bit growing up on the way from El Paso to Carlsbad, New Mexico. And there's a mountain path there, and I almost drove us off the mountain because a squirrel ran in the road and I didn't want to hit it. And my mom had to grab the steering wheel to stop me from driving off the mountain because I didn't want to run over the squirrel. Because I love squirrels.
Squirrels are I chase them. They distract me, believe it or not. Because, and you know why? You know why they distract me?
Because we're God's tennis balls?
No, because I'm a pup. I am a pup. That too, yes.
So I've always loved squirrels, and I love aviation, and I love flying. So a flying squirrel seemed like a natural progression, a natural sona to fit me. And so Omnom was actually a legitimate flying squirrel. That his first installment, he looked just like Rocky from Rocky and Bullwinkle. He was gray with big ol' eyes, big membrane wings and everything, just like Rocky. So throughout time, I made changes to him. His color changed, and he got the big speckled tail and hair that he's got right now. And everything kind of, progressed from there. But then one time, the Dutch Angel Dragon, and I we're very good friends. And we were at an anime convention together. And one night we were talking about it, and we had decided that Telephone was going to make Omnom. And we sat down in our hotel room, and on the back of a napkin, drew out Omnom's current design. We threw out the membrane wings. We made his wings into the feathers. We drew the giant tail, and it was just like, it was like a 5-year-old designing a Lamborghini, man. That was me. I want big,
Wow.
I want big feather wings, and I want this giant tail, and I want him to have fanged teeth, not buck teeth, and I want him to have little ear tufts like a caracal, and I want this, and I want that, and I want this. And I kid you not, I was like, we literally were using like a back of a napkin and crayons, because that's what the hotel had provided us, and we were designing Omnom on a back of a napkin with crayons, just like a bunch of kids at a restaurant drawn.
Oh, with crayons.
Literally crayons.
With
Yeah,
crayons.
literally crayons.
That is so much craziness right there. I don't know if I can even comprehend what's going on right now.
So Omnom was no longer a flying squirrel, and he wasn't really anything else. He wasn't a hybrid, because it was just something we had designed out of the deepest depths of our creative minds.
And not a sparkle dog squirrel thing either.
Because I didn't really take, and combine any species together. I just drew whatever this weird, well, I didn't draw it because I have no artistic ability whatsoever, but, Eno does. So she drew up all this thing, and that's where it came from. So I was like, oh, he's kind of a squirrel. I also like being called a squirrel. So when people call me a squirrel at this point, it's more of a nickname than the species. But so I just kind of looked it up. And now there's about there's quite a few of us around. We have an entire species chat. There's a bunch of suits that are already made and running around of winged cirruses. And yeah, so here we are.
Wow, that's really cool. You are the creator of the thing that is now known as the not walrus that's gone
Yes.
askew. That's the new name actually for it. You can't call it winged cyrus anymore. You now have to call it the walrus that's not the walrus that's gone
I'll go
askew.
change all the group chats.
Yeah, just change them all. You have to go online and change everything right there. So, what about the name Omnom the Nom, or is it really, as barely more properly maybe referred to, Omnom Nom Nom Nom?
I don't know which one's right.
Oh, really?
I just started putting nom 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 because people kept requiring a last name.
Oh,
And so like no. Why? I mean, why not? Okay, nice.
I thought I needed a name and I thought it sounded silly and cute. I had no idea back the amount of people that have asked me if I'm into. I don't know if I should say this, but if I'm into vor, which I'm not, because of my name, and I'm just like, no. It's just a name.
It's just a name thing that happened. Come on.
yeah, names happen.
Well, I'd have to say that I'm a pup that is wondering something else. And I'm wondering, how many cons would you typically go to? I mean, not this year, of course, but like in the long ago, in the before times, how many cons would you go to and what cons would they be?
In 2019, I went to 14 conventions.
14?
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
if I took my pausy and I held up one little pausy finger and the other one I held up all my pausy fingers because I only have 4 on the other one and put those together, that's the number of cons you went in 2019?
Yeah, I did about 4 or 5 guest appearances as a guest of honor. And then the rest of them were musical appearances with either Run Definitely Run or like the BLFC musical, stuff like that, which Run Definitely Run played at as well, I guess.
Right. That's true.
And then I think I only did 1 or 2. I did 2. And one of them turned into a faux guest appearance, which was A&W, because they wound up utilizing me like one of them and giving me a free pass.
I was there.
Yeah.
I saw
That's
you.
where
I
I met
hugged
you,
you.
I think, actually, was that one.
Was that 2019?
Yeah.
Really? Wow. Crazy.
No, maybe that was, yeah.
I think we met before that.
You guys said you met at TFF.
No, that's the last time we saw each other. No, yeah. We've
Gotcha. Okay.
No, and you're right, Tabin. I met you at 2018. Yes.
2018. Yeah, that sounds about right. Because I saw you at a few cons after that. So, but you were at 2019 though too.
Yeah, I
weren't
did.
You?
I played
okay,
on
okay.
like during the classical recital and all that stuff and whatnot.
And I hugged you. I remember hugging you.
I remember us dancing while we were waiting for the movie awards. Yeah, we walked
That's
the
right.
carpet.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember. That is a thing that happened. Now, what happened? We were talking about oh yeah, cons. That's how we were talking about cons.
Cons. Yeah, cons.
I got excited because I'm a pup and you're a squirrel, and I chase squirrels around and stuff. So that's how that happened. So, but 14, that's just crazy. I went in 2019. I went to 6 cons, and I think 2018 I went to 6, and 6 is a lot, and so I can't even imagine.
I was
14.
very burnt out.
Just,
I mean, poor Splat. I would come home I remember one time I came home for 3 days, showered, did laundry, turned around and left again.
well, that was really. I bet Splat was very excited that you did the laundry at least,
yeah.
so that was useful. Nice. So, do you have any like favorite cons and or favorite memories?
My 2 favorite cons, I can say without a shadow of a doubt. And here's one thing a lot of people don't know about me. I founded 2 conventions myself. I was the original founding con chair of, one of them, of Denver. I backed out before the con actually started because I had creative differences with who's running it and owns it now. And we didn't see eye to eye on a couple things, but I was the original founding of that. And I was the founder of IBFC. So for me, when I'm looking for what's my favorite con, it's a little like there's a lot. My weird brain goes into a different thought process of what makes a great con for me. And a lot of it comes down to morals and ethics and values, and those kinds of things are very important to me. And so, but as well as, like I like things that are shiny. I'm a squirrel, and so people that put on a big spectacle,
Me too.
I really like when people get super deep into the theme. I really like that too. So I'm kind of a nerd too. Like I like tabletop gaming and stuff like that. So like when it comes to these kinds of things, the deeper the con gets and the more the con focuses on trying to make it an experience as opposed to just a big meetup, that's important for me. So A&W I love because I love Gabe and I love A&W and I love how it's all ages oriented, and that is just one of my favorite cons.
Yeah, I'm with you. A&W is pretty good. And yeah, Gabriel, he's so
Gosh.
great. So we are of like fluff on that. Awesome.
The whole staff at A&W is great. Everybody there that I've met.
They do so good. It's so well organized and everything, definitely.
And then the other's TFF. Sable, she is one of my best friends, and that whole con, it's just, I love everything about it. I really do. I love the staff.
Yeah, it's so well. My hubby, so my A&W and TFF are the main two cons that he would go with me to, and he says like TFF, one of his favorite things is how well organized and everything it is. So yeah, I'm with you. And no, I love that con. My favorite is probably actually BLFC.
That would be a close third for me because they get very deep into the theme. The hotel is awesome. Yeah. Very close third.
Yeah. I mean, they're like my top ones. They're all like, it's like everyone says, every fur, sorry, don't mean to offend any fur says, different cons are different. So it's really hard to say that your favorite, but yeah, my top ones are all like really close and everything like that, kind of like you're saying. So what would you typically do at cons? I mean, you do concerts, of course, but do you do panels? Do you like to just hang out? You do stuff. What is all the stuff that you do?
I don't know. I think my ADD squirrel brain, I don't, I have my set things that I have to do. And those are, whenever I go to a con, if I'm playing a show or if I'm doing a panel or whatever, I don't really like doing panels, if I could be perfectly candid. Because I'm way too spastic to sit in one place for too long.
Nice. Yeah, no, me. Any further knows me, I'm a pup, and I kind of run around a lot too.
Yeah, I can understand. Other than that, I just don't really make plans. I spend as much time in Suit as I can, and then I just try to see people that I don't get to see, and I don't make plans. If I do my obligations, and then I spend most of my time just trying to see people that I don't get to see very often, and as much time in Suit as humanly possible with my beautiful fiance. Of course, we both love being in Suit as much as possible. So
this is a total side digression for a sec, because I just remembered. So of course your Twitter, like your pinned little gift thing of Splat and Omnom on the Roombas and stuff. You've had that there forever. Did you plan that, or is it just you got lucky and it worked out and there it is?
One morning I woke up and saw them running around bumping into each other, and Splat was having coffee and I was getting ready for work, and I was like, this would be hilarious to put these on there. So I like the fursuit heads were sitting right next to it, and so I just went and grabbed them and set the two fursuit heads down on top of the Roombas and let them run around and then bump into each other, and that's it. It was such a just spur of the moment thing.
And you got the kiss. We got
the kiss. Yeah.
The kiss. Oh yeah, down with it. No. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. But yeah, you know why I did that? Do you know why I did that?
I don't know. It sounded like Getting Jiggy With It from Will Smith.
It was. But do you know why I did that?
Oh, I don't know why. Why?
Because I am a pup.
Oh,
did you not see that coming? Did you not see that coming? Anyway.
How did you not see that coming?
I don't know. I don't know either.
Anyway. No, I love you, Squirrel. I love you. So speaking of love, tell us about Itty Bitty FurCon. You referenced it a little bit ago, but tell us about it.
Well, I only ran that con officially for 1 year, and then the second year I turned it over to somebody else. But I started it way back then and funded it myself, and we did it in a banquet hall for weddings.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. It was a one-night convention, complete with panels, vendor area, everything. And we had, I think we had like 400 and something attendees the very first year. Yeah, and there was all these people,
pretty good.
like maybe it wasn't that. Maybe that was the second year. But yeah, either way, it was a huge success, and we did it one night, a one night convention in a banquet hall.
One night only. I have to ask, so you said you rented like a wedding banquet hall, and I'm sure that the wedding people were not used to this type of thing in their wedding hall. So how did that go over with them?
They thought, well, they weren't there. That's the thing. I
Oh,
told them what I was doing, and they showed up, opened the doors, and left. Like, we even
wow.
had internet issues, and I had to like call one of them up because literally there was nobody there. I had a friend of mine that, because I hosted events all the time. In Phoenix, being a musician, I would host concerts and things like that. And
Mhm.
instead of to play local shows, whenever Run Definitely Run or any of the other bands that I was in would play a local show, we wouldn't like try to get on somebody else's show because we were normally large enough to headline our own shows. So I would just rent out a concert venue. So I was very familiar with the legalities around running events and things like that, and I had a lot of connections. We had a friend of mine that ran food trucks. He came out and ran the kitchen and sold food. We had, Sparks Tracks. I don't know if you know who Sparks is, but she came and brought a bunch of lights and PA gear and audio. We had a full rave with lights and everything.
Nice. You had lights. That's amazing that you had lights. That's the
Well,
most
yeah, I'm
amazing
talking about
thing
like
right there.
concert lighting. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
Oh,
that
yeah,
that
yeah,
too.
yeah.
I mean, that's
yeah,
that's even better. Because if you don't have lights, you kind of bump into things because you cannot see what
yeah.
you're doing.
I'm talking like DJ lighting. DJ lighting. Yes, we had a full stage and everything.
So obviously then it's grown out of that venue.
Yeah, it grew out of that venue. It's now ran by a company called Monkey Paw, who runs Arizona Furcon. Because I'll be
Mhm.
honest, I didn't want to run. I didn't want to. I
Didn't want
didn't
to
want to
anymore.
staff cons anymore. People that do that religiously are some of the strongest people I have, and some of the most selfless people I have ever seen in my life. And they are better people than I am, because I could staff.
Yeah, but they can't fly a plane.
That's just
Yeah.
a skill that has nothing to do with being. But yeah, I didn't want to do it anymore. So
Awesome.
Nice. And
Awesome.
that's an area. So for any of our listeners out there, ATV FurCon, that is in Arizona also. Is it Phoenix or is it? No, it's Mesa.
pretty much
I
Phoenix.
think.
It's the Phoenix
Mesa.
Valley. Mesa's a
Mesa.
suburb of
Mesa.
the Phoenix Valley. But yeah, Mesa. It's just a part of the Phoenix Valley. But yeah, it's still, Phoenix wouldn't be the wrong answer. It's part of the valley. So
Okay, good. So, speaking of rutabagas, you are a talented musician. What are the musics? The musics that you do.
well,
And
Everything is so dramatic with him. Everything is so dramatic.
I'm a pup. What can I say?
I don't know how to answer that question. What type of answer are you looking for?
Okay, so let's start with, do you play the triangle?
I've never played a triangle. No.
Do you play a apple baker?
I've never tried to play an apple baker either.
Okay. So what do you play and what do you do?
Okay, what do I do? Got it. Well, I've been a musician since I can remember. I started playing violin and bass guitar when I was 8. And I'm now in my mid-30s. I'm not going to date myself, but I'm now in my mid-30s.
You're not well, you can't. If you date yourself, then Splat better be okay with it because, well,
I think I'm the only person Splat would be okay with me dating.
okay, good. Everything's okay.
I spent most of my life, a good chunk of my life, playing music. Did a couple of really cool things, was in a few touring bands, got nominated for a few Grammys, never won, but got nominated.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Omnom, Squirrely, I did not know this about you. Now I have to give you a hug again someday.
Oh,
I mean, I guess I had to anyway, but now I really have to.
well, I'll take one either way. But that was a long time ago in a land far, far away.
Land far away. When we had cons.
Well before I was even a furry, but
In the before time.
in the before time, yeah.
And actually, if you only had your Grammy a few times, I'm sorry that you did not get to visit her more often.
Well, I'll go see her once COVID's over, but
Okay, great. Okay, everything will be okay.
yeah, I play I don't know, I think 12 or 13 different instruments, something like that. I've played drums in a few bands, played bass in a few bands, guitar, sing. I currently sing for Run
Nice.
Definitely Run. I write EDM as well, piano, stuff like that.
You have not, you said at the NW Film Festival 2018, you wanted to make a EDM version of
Yes.
Crispy
Yes,
Chicken.
I never got around to that.
And-
I still want to do that. God, that would
Okay.
be hilarious.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, no.
Now that you've reminded me, I think I need to. It needs to happen.
no. Oh,
Yeah, I think the last time we talked about this Omnom, you needed like a bass track or something.
I think I just needed just your voice doing crispy chicken. Like it was just your voice. Yeah.
Oh, I think can we who has that? Do you have that, Barely? Do I have that?
I have that.
I probably have it too. One of us can get it to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. One of us can get to you. So I have a question then. So because you talked about Run
Mhm.
Definitely Run, and I'm assuming that's not a furry band,
We are a band of furries and we are all fursuiters, but
right?
we don't sing about furry topics, but it is our prime
Okay.
demographic and we are all furries.
Okay. And now was that the band that got you the Grammy nominations?
Oh no, 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 no. No, no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was a long time ago with a much different band in the mid
Okay.
to well, I guess the late 2000s. I would say that, but it has a lot of my
Okay.
Okay.
like if people look it up, it's got a lot of my private and personal information attached to it.
Oh no, that's fine. I was just curious.
No, Run Definitely Run is the band I started with Roman Yeaner.
Okay. All right. Because I was gonna say if a furry band got nominated for a Grammy,
Yeah.
kudos.
Well, believe it or
Yeah,
not, so
that's true.
I write a good majority of the music for Run Definitely Run. I'm the prime creative force behind Run Definitely Run, I guess. And the producer that we use, his name is Jeremy Parker. He is a very good friend of mine from the before times in the old bands. And he's our current producer, and he's the guy that mixed and produced and engineered a lot of. He's a multi-Grammy, multi-platinum winning guy. He did Evanescence, Godsmack,
Wow.
Disturbed. Yeah, yeah, and
Really?
he's
Wow.
a good personal friend, and he's actually doing our new album, and he did our last album. So
Wow.
Wow.
So how did you did you just meet him and have him as know him a long time ago and that just happened, or how did that have come
no,
about?
like I said, he did one of my last bands. And I met him. Mhm.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, he
I
was
missed
the
that.
producer for one of the other bands I was in.
Oh, nice. Okay. Cool.
So
Cool.
that was long ago. So he still like kind of starting out then too or something?
Oh no, no.
Oh, I don't know things apparently. I am just a pup.
You know that Bring Me Back to Life song or whatever from Evanescence? Yeah, he's the one that did that. He's been a huge name in
Okay.
Oh,
the
wow.
music industry for a very, very long time.
Okay, and that's right. That was a while
Mhm,
ago. That was
mhm.
okay. Well, that's an interesting journey that you have had and are continuing to have. And so, Run Definitely Run. Yeah, I've definitely, of course, heard this stuff. I saw your show at TFF last year. Good stuff. What genre would you classify Run Definitely Run as?
Well, I don't know because I feel like that changes a little bit. The new album, because Foxamore, this is the first album he's going to be on. Foxamore is our full-time pianist as well, and he's been co-writing. Well, I wouldn't say co-writing because that makes it sound like it's just me and him. But like, if he's a full-time member of Run Definitely Run now, so we've been all writing this album together. And so, I've been taking a lot of the stuff that I've been writing to him and he's been adding his touch and flair to it. So this new album is much more symphonic than the last album.
Oh, I'm excited. You got me wagging.
I'll send you guys some of the stuff. In fact, I might if you want to play it, I've got a teaser that you're more than welcome to play on the podcast if you'd like to that I can send you when we wrap up.
Sure. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So let me do a lead in then and say, well, let's take a listen to it now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great. This is the intro song to the album called Rebirth. It doesn't have vocals on it yet, but you'll be able to hear at least like the first 60 seconds of it and hear what the new album's going to sound like. new album is it's got a little bit more of a variety in its approach to music. It's still very EDM and dancey, like electronic dance music-y. It's still very rocky, but it's also very symphonic at the same time. So we're gonna have full-on dubstep EDM elements and full-on symphonic orchestral breakdowns and still poppy rock, and it's all over the place.
This pup, I'm a pup, it turns out. I really love the symphonic stuff, so I am really looking forward to that. I love what I just heard. Can't wait to hear the new album. And is it recent? It's recent, isn't it, that Fox joined Run Definitely Run?
Well, Fox Some More and Run Definitely Run have a very extensive background together, where Fox Some More has played live with us quite a few times, even for the last album, because I don't remember who approached who, but at some point in time, you know what? I think it was just like we played a show with Fox and Pepper, and I've done a lot of things with Fox More and Pepper. Like I did the entire BLFC musical with them and sang a lot of stuff on that. And we've done quite a few songs together. And at one point it was just like, hey, Fox, you just want to stay on stage and play this song with us or play this song with us, because it's got some piano parts in it that you could spice up, And so we just disabled the piano track because we use full live backtracking for the dubstep and EDM stuff, because there's no way to recreate that live.
So he spiced it up, which means you were the Spice Furs, not the Spice Girls. I tried. I'm such a pup. Anyway, no, that's very cool. That's very awesome. So do we get to know a tentative release date?
Well, I would say yes if it wasn't for COVID, because Fox Some More.
Okay,
in Scotland. Roman is in Chicago. I'm out here. Kiwi's in Ohio. So getting everybody to travel across literally the world to come record this album. It's already paid for. The Kickstarter's already done. Jeremy Parker's already got tentative slots set for us to record with, but I don't think that they're going to happen because they would be at the end of this month, actually. And COVID is still running rampant. So
that's a little too soon. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're probably going to have to push it back. If we push it back, the tentative date for us to go back into the studio would be late June, assuming that everybody in the band and Jeremy and their families are vaccinated. That's where we're at. We want to make sure that everybody's vaccinated and safe, and before anybody drives and or flies or swims in Fox Some More's across the ocean.
Right, Fox swims across the ocean. Yes.
He's a pretty strong fox there, it turns out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you do live shows and you have a bunch of albums. How many albums do you have out, by the way, for Run Definitely Run?
Run Definitely Run has just one album. We haven't been a band. Well, we haven't really. Well, that's a good question. There's actually a couple of good answers for that. We wrote one album and then we had an entire lineup change, because the starting lineup, short of me and Roman, our drummer, everybody else in the band wasn't a furry.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, and you say that in a silly way, well, not you, but people would think that that's something silly. But the thing is that our us playing furry conventions primarily and things along that line, they just weren't really all about it. So for a while there, the band actually split up for a good year and a half before me and Roman rebuilt it. And then I started working on this new album. So the band has only been around 5 years, and we spent 2 of that broken up and 2 of that touring on the last album. And
that just breaks me up to hear that.
But I never stopped doing my solo stuff. I do a lot of solo stuff. I have an entire album of my own coming out of fun covers that I've done. I recently did the Muffin song from ASDF movie. I don't know if you know, and I got 20 something odd fursuiters together to recreate the music video, and that's up on my YouTube now. And
you have a SoundCloud. Is it on your SoundCloud and stuff?
I don't really have a SoundCloud, believe it or not. Everything is either on iTunes because I publish all my stuff to iTunes, Amazon, Google, YouTube.
Why did I say that? What is wrong with me?
I think a lot of people use SoundCloud, though.
A lot of people use SoundCloud, and it's just almost an assumption that if you stream music, you have a SoundCloud or a Bandcamp.
Okay, so you haven't. So I guess on that note, maybe we should get this correct then. What are all your social medias and what are all your places we can hear you?
Yeah. Well, if you would like to watch everything I release, I make a music video for my solo stuff. All of those are on my YouTube, which is youtube.com/Omnom and Splat. Or if you just look up Omnom, NomNomNom, which I guess is now my official name now that you mention it.
But if
Now that you
Mhm,
mention it, on iTunes or Amazon, pretty much anywhere you can buy music. It's on satellite radio, anywhere music can be
Oh,
found, you
okay.
can find it there. But you
Nice.
could just listen to it for free on YouTube. So
That's
Nice.
amazing.
Nice.
And you stream. You've already talked about this a little bit, but so you stream. Is it a weekly thing or a bi-weekly thing, or what do you do?
I stream 5 days a week.
Oh, wow.
Whether it's
Wow.
music, I do a lot of music creation on my channel. I'll talk about how the creative process goes. I work on a lot of my personal stuff and definitely run stuff live. And then I do kind of the same thing everybody else does with video games and stuff like that. And I'll be, like I said, all my streams this month will be dedicated to that, the ALS North Carolina Foundation.
Yep. Nice. 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 I'm a pup. I'm a pup.
I love
Just had to help out there in my little way, I guess. So is that on your YouTube or is it Twitch or something that you stream?
I stream to Twitch, which is Omnom_squirrel.
Okay.
If anybody's curious.
Underscore squirrel.
I tried NomNomNom, but it was taken.
What?
What?
Yeah, I don't know by who, but
Wow. Copyright that, man. Copyright it.
yeah, I should.
So speaking of copyright, what is this heave a paw sea shanty with
Oh.
pepper thing?
I don't know. That's Pepper's thing. I sing in it, but
Oh.
that's that's a Pep thing. I took a part in it, but Pepper sent me a thing and said, "Hey, well, actually, I don't know who originally contacted me for that."
Did they just send you music and say sing this, and then you
Well,
didn't know
no,
why?
no. It was a bit better explained than that. Because Pepper is
Okay.
a very, 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 very well collected individual, and he's very. Anytime I've ever worked with Pepper or Fox, it's always been very, very good directive instructions on what I need to do. So they sent me, yeah, they sent me, a very well laid out, here's what part you're going to sing. If you would like to sing these parts as well, you can. Here's the lyrics. Here's a demo of kind of, something to follow as a guideline if you'd like, but feel free to do your own thing. And then the backing music, and it was very well done. But I actually took very little part in that. They sent me, hey, sing this. I sang that and sent my stems back to them, or my tracks back to them, and I heard it a week later like everybody else. So, yeah.
And did it turn out okay?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was super good. I can't wait for the video. I know that Moore is working on a video for it right now, and I haven't seen anything about that.
Nice. We have a lot to look forward to and to look back on and to look present on. Barely,
Yes.
what's an AH?
What's an AH? All right, I'll go into this. So it says here in our notes that you're a pilot, which you made reference to
Mhm.
early on in the interview, that you're a commercial pilot.
Mhm.
So I have to ask you, what is your record for your longest Okay, get a little background. So you know how when pilots talk on the plane, they're like, from the cockpit.
Oh, my longest
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I don't know if you guys noticed throughout this conversation, but I go a lot. And that is such a habit from those days.
And being the pup that I am, I go a lot too. So that's just see, I just did it again. We are of like fluff once again.
So
Now I know what that's about.
The reason I asked that question is because there was a Family Guy episode recently. I don't know if you watched Family Guy or not.
was the one with Quagmire going
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was just on like a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, hey, he was getting a hat signed by Scully Sullenberg, and Sullenberg says, "So what's your record for your longest?"
Oh my goodness. So here's the funny thing about me. I've never had a big because I flew. Well, I did a couple things, but my primary job was what's called Part 135, which was I flew corporate charter and private jets. So I didn't
nice.
really talk to the passengers very often. In fact, the company I worked for had an exclusivity agreement that the passengers could opt into, to where we would get in the cockpit, get everything ready, and they would show up, get in the back, and then we would fly them. They would get off, and then we would exit. And the only people they would interact with would be the flight attendants and whatever their private crew were. We would always know who we were flying
Right.
because that's law, and we would always be able to, so they could get in and we'd always be able to inspect the cargo, and we'd always have crew doing everything like that. But as the actual pilot in command, we had an agreement to where we would never talk to them. And a lot of people preferred that.
Oh, all right.
So I didn't really get on the radio to talk to the passengers very often, other than the occasional signal, hey, we're starting our descent. But a lot of the times I would just talk to the flight attendant, and then the flight attendants would relay whatever was needed to the passengers directly. So
Nice.
Could you please tell our passengers that we are now with avocado fruit and let them know if they really want a hinder fruit covered with blueberry spices, they can do so for an extra fee of $1.52. What am I talking about? I don't know, but I felt like that's what you
No,
said. Is that what you said to the flight
no,
attendants?
when it comes to food, believe it or not, everything was predetermined, and the passengers would always get to pick what their food options were, and if they had specific things, we would always cater it to them. But what else is interesting is a lot of people don't know is that both pilots were not allowed to eat from the same source as well. So one of us would get to eat the onboard meal, and then the other person would either have to bring or eat before or after.
I did not know that.
Because you don't want both crew members getting sick.
Good call.
That's we don't want to have another, airplane and all that and everything, don't have the fish. Don't have the fish. That makes sense. So when one pilot has, say, Red Robin and the other pilot has, I don't know, Carl's Jr., then that's when it gets really bad because then they're both sick and it didn't work.
Now, that's not a regulation. That's what's called an SOP or standard operating procedure, and that was what our company determined. And every company I've ever seen or heard of that's Part 135 has had the same SOP. But yeah, it's just interesting.
So Tabin, one of them had Qdoba and the other one had no, I'm sorry. Well, never mind.
Chipotle? Oh yeah, let's not. Let's not. Let's not. Let's not. And again, if Majira happens to hear this, he knows exactly where this was going to go, and I apologize in advance for what I was about to do, but barely cut me off. So anyway, Omnom, are you still there? How's it going?
I'm still here, yes.
Oh yeah, I have a question for you.
What's that?
What is your favorite joke?
My favorite joke? I know exactly what my favorite joke is. I can tell you exactly what my favorite joke is.
Okay, I am ready. Let us have it.
What do you call a fly with no wings?
I don't know, Omnom. What do you call a fly with no wings?
A walk.
Isn't that so? Like, if you're a fly with no wings, you don't have to worry about what you have for dinner every night because you have a walk.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, that too. Hi. I am a pup, and I also want to know, what is your favorite meme?
My favorite meme. You know, I don't. Let me look through my GIFs
Your
GIFs.
GIFs.
with my Jolden Retriever.
GIFs.
Your children retriever. Did you get a
Sure.
gift for Christmas?
Yes, I did. Yes, I got a GIF for Christmas. You know what? My favorite meme is probably the dog sitting inside the house with his cup of coffee, and the whole thing is on fire, and he's going, "This is fine."
This is fine. This is fine.
Either that or Kronk going, "Oh yeah, it's all coming together," because I love Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove. One of those two.
I have not seen that. Okay.
I will send it to you.
But that's kind of old school.
There you go.
Oh, snap. I am snapping with my pauses and I am looking at it. It's loading. Oh yeah, that one. Okay. I have seen that. Okay.
So as Tabin, do you have any other questions? Otherwise we can start wrapping this up. What do you think?
Well, what else would you, Mr. Wonderful Squirrely, I mean, Walrus, that's not askew. What would you like our listeners to know about you that we haven't already covered? And we've really already covered like everything about your fluff, but is there anything else?
No, I just hope that everybody's staying safe, and I hope that everybody's kind and considerate to each other, and I hope that our fandom, is all keeping safe, and I can't wait to see everybody soon. And this fandom's been a big family for me for a very long time, and it's changed my entire life for the better, and so it means a lot to me, and so I'm very grateful for every little bit of support and love that this fandom has brought to me and everybody else, and I can't wait to see everybody again soon. That's all I got to say.
Nice,
Awesome.
nice. Love
Awesome.
it, love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being on our show. It sounds like you are really busy now. Just as a follow-up question, so you do all of this social media and music and stuff, and that's basically your full-time career at this point.
Yeah. Doing
Yes?
Twitch and
Yeah.
music and stuff is
Wow.
And
Okay.
you're like one of those big timers that have like a million monitors. I've seen your desk. You have like a lot of monitors and things going on.
I do have a pretty big setup. Yeah, mostly for my music stuff.
Nice.
Nice,
Nice.
nice, nice.
All right. Well, thanks again for being on the show. It's been a pleasure having you. I can't wait to I don't think I've ever met you in person yet, but I'm looking forward to it sometime soon in the near future when cons come back to life in the after times.
I'm
So,
looking forward to meeting you too. Maybe we could all go out to dinner or something at some point. That'd be
Yes.
great.
that'd be great. That'd be great.
And you,
So,
so yes, it's been really great having you on. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but it turns out that I'm a pup, and my name is Tabin, and I'm a pup, and I'm really glad that you came on the show and we were able to talk to you again. And hopefully someday I can be a pup with you at a con. It's been really great and everything. And I'm really sorry that it's been a whole year since this pup was with a squirrel, and so that's really great. So I just have to say thank you so much for coming on. I hope you have a wonderful night. And in case all of our listeners did not know, I'm a pup, and it turns out I'm a pup. And we'll see you next time. Lovely squirrely. Have a good, wonderful evening. I'm a pup bark.
Thank you for having me.
Omnom, what a guy. That's kind of
Yep.
a fun. There's a lot of stuff going on there. I didn't realize that he was a Grammy nominated artist.
I did not know that either. I mean, I've known he's a great squirrel for several years. I've known him several years and known he's been great. But yeah, a great Grammy artist, and he's done lots of stuff as he talked about. Been doing lots of things. Really prolific, I think, is the word in his music production and video production and everything. So, any listener out there, any for out there that's listening, if you haven't already seen or heard of Omnom stuff, go to his YouTube, check out Run Definitely Rum, really good stuff. See him at a con, he's fun. And there you have it.
Give him a hug.
And that even, after all that, then you can give him a hug.
Awesome. Well, as all of our fans know, listening from week to week, when we come back from our guest, we go into, and I know that everybody's going to wait for you to say it, Tabin, but we go into furries in the news.
Furries in the news.
Well, there's a short one for a change. All right, I like it.
It's a.
Nice.
I figured I'd give him for a little break. Why not?
Yeah.
I'm trying to, start conversations and stuff. So another good mailbag. Let us know what you think. Do you like the normal, what I normally do for the furries in the news intro thing? Or do you like this shorter thing better? Let us know what your thoughts are.
I found today there is a new game being created. It's being funded on Kickstarter. This guy created it by himself up to this point, and now he needs massive amount of help. So he started this Kickstarter thing, and it's called Space Cats Tactics.
Ooh, this sounds like, that's hard to say. Space Cats
Tactics.
I keep wanting to say cactics, but tactics.
Or Tic Tacs. Yeah.
Or Tic
Space
Tacs.
Cats Tic Tacs. Yes.
You
But,
really have to think about that. That's really awesome right there. I mean, I'm loving it already.
So it's ready for the pun? It's a perfect turn-based strategy game. It's basically kitties in space. And here's the thing. The storyline goes that the cats were genetically experimented upon by humans to become a slave race of warrior kitties.
Oh no!
And
Well, I mean, warrior kitties sound good, but I don't like how this is starting out.
they, of course, rose up against their human oppressors and freed themselves from the slavery.
They didn't daffodil themselves against their oppressors. You don't daffodil up to your oppressors. You.
Oh God, the puns! Oh, the puns! The puns!
I'm
the
so
puns, the
horrible.
puns.
I'm a pup. I'm sorry. I can't help.
Yes, and I had to think about it because I'm like, what did I say that you said daffodils? And it was
Oh,
like
okay.
rose. I had to think about it.
Okay.
Normally, I'm pretty spot on about
You
this
are,
stuff, but I
you
had
to
to think about it. Right, and now they're on their own, and they are out in space doing space things for the
Space
game.
kitties thing.
Now, the write-up says there are tons of cat puns in the game.
Ooh, I like this even more already.
So if you want to help fund a furry kitty space game,
I do. I'm going to look into this for sure.
Space Cats Tactics. There you go.
This is so
And
exciting.
that's all the furries in the news I have. What do you have, Tabin?
So Animal Crossing recently, like, people and furs have gone crazy creative with this thing. So recently put out, you can go on YouTube, and if you search for Africa and Animal Crossing, someone did a live. They have a whole bunch of Animal Crossing villagers. They have their musical instruments, and they do Toto's Africa, and it's so good. It's really, really good. It's like they're
Nice.
all like there's the drum, there's saxophone and it's got like the Animal Crossing music, like sounds and everything. It's so amazing.
Mhm.
And also someone did the musical named Hamilton.
Yeah.
So someone in Animal Crossing did the entire first set of Hamilton. You've got the villagers, you've got foxes, you've got tigers, you've got lions, you've got Animal Crossing does the first scene of Hamilton, and it's so amazing. And also
Okay.
the amount of time this person must totally be in total lockdown because the amount of time that he must have spent on this. Anyway, it's really, really insane. So every for after, go to YouTube and look for Animal Crossing Hamilton and Animal Crossing Africa, and it's just amazing. It's adorable.
It's adorable. It's adorable. It's so cute.
So
It's
cute.
so cute. It's so
Ba, ba,
cute.
ba, 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 ba. Why
So,
am I doing that?
I don't know. So cons and upcoming events. We're just gonna move right in there because
Oh, I think so. 'Cause
sometimes
we
I
don't
just
know.
have to ignore the Tabin
He does.
because
I've been noting this lately, and it's just like,
why? Because
because
why?
I'm a pup. It turns out
Yes,
that
you
I
are.
am a pup,
Mhm.
and a pup, I can't help it. So you
Yep.
just got to move along sometimes.
So, Furlandia officially announced on March 15th that they will not have an event in 2021.
Right? They're not going to
So
try and
they're
postpone. I mean, it's a lot of work just to postpone. So I understand.
yeah,
Good.
so
I think it was a good, and it would have been in. It's always Memorial Day weekend, so it would have been in May, and it's a little too soon. So I
mhm.
know it was a hard decision for Landia people.
Yeah.
Furs.
Well,
But
and
I think
people
it's
too. There's people involved in the con,
there
not
are
just
people
furs.
involved. So a hard decision, but I think it was the right one, and we'll just look really forward to Orlandia in the 2022.
And of course, last week we talked about BLFC had announced that they were going to have it in the fourth quarter. So it's October 21st to the 25th. BLFC will happen. All right. I think it is time. It's a math week. So do you have a math thing for us today?
I do. Shout out to Hex Flame
Yes.
from the BFFT chat. At one point, he had some math questions,
Math
actually.
questions. Yes.
That's the words
Or-
I was trying to say. And
Uh-huh.
so for every fur, like I've said, if you have a story you'd like me to read, or some math questions, or some just general math you'd like me to talk about, send us some mail. Let us know, and I will talk about it on the show. But Hexflame, the first of his questions are: why are hexagons used in beehives and other nature structures? So it turns out bees are very, very smart. They're actually fun to watch. They're actually very creative and very smart, intelligent things. So if you've ever seen a honeycomb, the things they live in and everything, they're all
Mhm.
hexagon. Why is that? It's not a man-made thing. Like they actually make this. This is
Mhm.
like blows the mind that they created this. And here's why it blows the mind for several reasons. One, it's very space efficient. For example, they didn't make circles, which seems like the natural thing, because if you put a bunch of circles together, you've lost a lot of space in between the
Mhm.
circles.
Yes.
So do a polygon of some sort, a triangle, a square, or something. Why a hexagon? Well, it turns out that hexagons are very, very sturdy. They're very efficient. Like if you think, well, why not a triangle? I mean, they still fit together perfectly. You don't lose any space and all that. Well, a triangle or like a square, for example, structurally are weak because
Okay.
they don't have
Okay.
enough angles to support and everything.
Hmm.
It turns out that hexagons uses the least amount of material to hold the most weight.
Huh.
And they fit together nicely. And so you see this in, construction sites, in cars and things. You see hexagons and that's because they're very structurally sound and also very efficient for like putting together and saving space. I believe it goes that we actually got the idea of a hexagon being so efficient from the bees. So they came up with this. So now they came up with this. It turns out it's
There
a
was a bunch
lot
of bees at a board meeting saying, "What shape should we
What
use?"
should we-
Hexagon.
It was a very productive meeting.
It was the bee boards.
It was the bee boards. They all the bees brought their spouses, and so that way they could always have their honey with them.
Oh.
Speaking of honey, actually, so it takes not surprisingly, it takes a lot of work to make a honeycomb.
Honeycomb, please. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's not false.
The wax that builds the honeycomb, so here's the sciencey part, comes from the glands on the bees' abdomens, actually. And honeybees have to make and eat about 2 tablespoons of honey to make 1 ounce of wax. A bee colony can produce about 100 pounds of honey, and some can produce 300 to 500 pounds. So it's amazing. So you can imagine, because of this, the structure is very, very important. It's very important that it can hold all this weight and hold together so well. It's just really amazing. All this reminded me of, and I learned this at one point sometime, that bees, they go out and fly and find their flowers and everything to do their pollination and the bee thing and everything. And then they come back to the hive. They communicate to other bees where this was, of course. And the way they do that communication is through a dance. Like they'll little walking little figure eights or something like this in their little hive. And it's not just them going crazy. It's them teaching the other bees where to go to get this, which is just amazing. Like, these are smart creatures.
Those are honeybees. And of course, there are many types of of other bees as well. Now, there are like bumblebees.
Right. And the nice fluffy ones. The fluff.
I'm bringing home a baby bumblebee.
And then, did you know that if you see a bumblebee and she's like flying along and kind of like touching the ground and stuff, she's getting tired. Now
they get tired.
They get tired. Now, if you see this, go make like a cup of sugar water and go out with a little spoon, and they will take a little bit of sugar water from you, and that gives them enough energy to get back up where they're going.
That is so cute. Oh, I'm loving it.
Were you going to do more than one math thing, or are you just going to do that one?
Really quick, yeah. Hex Flame had 3 things, and I think I'll just talk really briefly because I've done it before. So my talking about it will be about. So his question was, what's the deal with a nautilus shell? So back in episode 14, I talked about Fibonacci, and as a little example about where Fibonacci sequence occurs in nature, I talked about sunflowers and the nautilus shell and everything. So Hex Flame, go back and listen to episode 14, and you can hear more about where that comes from. But just really briefly, Fibonacci has this sequence, and it's this amazing sequence that shows up in nature all over the place. And it's just a sequence of numbers: 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, blah, blah. And I talk all about it on episode 14. It's really, really amazing and special, this Fibonacci thing, and the golden ratio and all that stuff, nautical shells. I talk about plants and everything that show up. So anyway, that's what I'm going to say about that. And then the third question, which I'll wait to talk about future pupisode, he asked, what is Euler's method? So I will talk about that.
You've talked about Euler before.
I've talked about Euler, but not in particular. I don't think I've talked about his method that Hex Flame.
Oh, he's not his method. Okay.
Euler was an amazing mathematician, has lots and lots of wonderful mathy things attributed to him. And one is this thing called Euler's method. And he actually has several Euler's methods. So I'll do I'll put together something and talk about several Euler's methods in a future episode.
Well, that brings us to one of our favorite sections we hear all the time, our really bad jokes. Have you got your really bad joke book, my friend?
I have my book.
And what is the title of your book for the furs that have forgotten?
The book is called Funny Jokes and Foxy Riddles. It's a quote-unquote joke book from 1968. And any fur that's heard of this before knows I use quote-unquote very seriously. That I haven't read them before the recording, so we all hear them for the first paw right now, which means I haven't pre-selected the bad jokes, where on the other paw, Barely has selected his bad joke. So I don't know what that says about us, but there it is.
I go out and try and find somewhat funny but bad jokes. All right, what's your first joke, my puppy friend?
Mr. Astaire, not Mr. Escalator, but Mr. Stair says, "How do you like my new dog?" Mr. Trampoline, I'm making this up. It's not what the book says, but Mr. Trampoline says, "Is he trained?" Mr. Astaire says, "Well, of course. When I tell him not to sit up, he doesn't sit up."
What? Wow. Hence the title. Hence the title of the section, Really Bad Jokes.
Okay.
So my sister bet me $100 that I couldn't make a car out of spaghetti.
Mm.
Yeah, you should have seen her face when I drove pasta.
You really should have. Barely. Have you heard about the new Doctor doll?
I have not.
Well, you wind it up and it operates on batteries.
You know, I was going to tell you a joke about pizza, but then I realized it was probably too cheesy.
Yeah. Mr. Eisenhower wants to know, what's the matter, miss? And Mrs. Cauliflower says, I lost my glasses and I can't look for them until I find them. What? So let me read that just for posterity's sake, how this was stupid. This was extremely stupid. So, okay, and I'll use the book Man and Girl. The man says, what's the matter, miss? The girl says, I lost my glasses and I can't look for them until I find them. I'm a pup, what can I say?
You know, every time I'm down in the dumps, I get myself a new suit. It's surprising what you can find down in the dumps.
When you're down there, it's very surprising.
It's very surprising. Yep.
So again, barely looks for these, and mine are I'm just reading them and haven't even read them before. So apparently mules are very ticklish. And have you ever tickled a mule?
I can honestly say I have never tickled a mule. Thank God.
Because they're very and well, let me tell you, you should try it. You'll get a big kick out of it. So don't be behind the mule when you tickle it, because your kick will be horrible.
You know, that reminds me, there is a joke, or not a joke, but a song from Boy Scouts that goes, on mules we find 2 legs behind and 2 we find before. If you're behind the 2 behind, you'll find what they before. So stand before the 2 behind and behind the 2 before. If you're behind the 2 behind, you'll be finding what they before.
I'm so glad I said that joke. I mean, that's the reason I told the joke right there. Do you remember whether the weather's cold or whether the weather's hot, whether the weather's fine or whether the weather's not, whether the weather, whatever the weather, or whether you like it or not, the temperature is... And whatever the temperature is anyway.
You must have gone to scout camp.
I know. Puppy Scout.
Puppy Scouts. Little Puppy Scouts.
I am a puppy. Little Puppy Scouts. Oh, I want little puppies. I'm so excited right now. Between
Scouts.
the kitty game and the honey, the bumblebee with the little and the puppies, I am just so fluffified, cutesy-pied right now.
There
It's
is
amazing.
so much cute in this episode. It's almost sickening. It's my turn for a joke. A father confronts his teen son in the backyard. I heard you skipped school today and went to the beach. That's a lie, the son said. And I have the movie stub to prove it.
Did you change the water in the goldfish bowl, Barely?
I did
Because
not.
apparently we have a goldfish now.
Well, okay. I didn't change the water. Was I supposed to?
Because you didn't even know he had one. So.
Yeah, so clearly. I was like,
Well, I mean, because, oh. No, you're supposed to actually say the answer. So, okay. So keep that all in the don't edit that out.
okay.
So now, when I see... Okay, maybe it's better if you ask me. Ask me if I changed the water in the goldfish bowl.
Hey, Tabin, did you change the water in the goldfish bowl?
No, they didn't drink it all yet. And done,
and done. So I have one more. A teacher asks her class, true or false? The Declaration of Independence was written in Philadelphia. Well, that's false, a boy says. It was written in ink.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't drink it all yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't drink it all either. So, well, as so often is the case, we have rambled for a long period of time. and we have come to the end. And many, many furs are saying, "Thank God!" right now that we've
As
come
always,
to the end.
it's like such a masochistic thing on there.
I don't know how this happens. We're moving, we're walking, we're locking,
We're moving.
popping.
I think we're moving.
We're moving, locking, popping, all that stuff. And the next thing I know, it's time to go. The sun has gone down. It's dark outside.
I am a pup.
And I hope that all of our listeners have had a good time during the show this week. So, moo bark fluff. Until next week, stay furry.
And I say moo bark fluff. Also, thank you so much, all you furs, for listening. In case you hadn't guessed, I am a pup. It turns out my name is Tabin. I'm a pup. Bark, bark. And we're so glad to have you here. And we hope you've entertained you. We hope you've had a good time. We hope you've learned a lot. This is a very educational, stupid thing that we do here, but we love it, so we do it anyway. So we hope you like it with us. We love you. Can't wait to, the vaccines are rolling out, so eventually we'll be able to fluff again and hug again, because I'm a pup and I want to do that. And I'm sure all you too. So it'll be really great to do that. So thank you all for all of that. We'll talk at you next time. My name is Tabin. I'm a pup. Bark, bark. Talk at you next time. Bark.
Barely Furcasting is an Injured Nerves studio production and is found on all major podcast platforms or can be heard directly at barelyfurcasting.com. The opinions expressed here are those of the hosts and their guests, and no commercial compensation was granted. The Furcast is produced, recorded, and directed by me, Barely Normal, aka Mike Began, and is edited by myself and our associate editors Rain Raccoon and Bixby Wolf. This week's interview was edited by Bixby Wolf. Opening and closing theme music, as well as some interstitial music, was created for Injured Nerves Productions for the use on the podcast by our music associate, Regday, with Damien Tanuki. If you would like to hear more of music by Regday, you can search for Tweezerbeak on Bandcamp or Hoop Loop Tunes on SoundCloud. Other interstitial and background music by Shane Ivers through silvermansound.com and the YouTube free use library. If you would like to send us a message, you can do so via email at barelyfurcasting@gmail.com or on our Telegram chat at BFFTchat, on Twitter, on our Facebook page, or on the barelyfurcasting.com webpage. You can support the show through donations at ko-fi.com/barelyfurcasting or through Patreon at patreon.com/barelyfurcasting. Thanks for listening. We hope you come back and listen next week.